My name is Christian Basel. Years ago, I had an idea. I got myself a TARDIS. Took it to new places, met a lot of new people, took some great pictures, and talked Doctor Who. From Krypton Radio and the creators of the Hanging With Web show, this is the legend of the Traveling Tardis. Join me on my latest adventures and become part of the legend. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS radio show for Halloween specials. We've got 4 of them lined up this month. We are doing some very, very fun and active Halloween specials, the most scariest things about Doctor Who, whether it be scary episodes or scary villains or such. We're going to be exploring that throughout the entire month of October as we get closer to Halloween. And for those of you who may have just been hanging around the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS, thank you so much for joining us in. We've had quite a few people join us recently, and we have started as of October 1st, the 31 days of Halloween. There's going to be a plethora of music videos, movie clips, and especially the Traveling TARDIS in its most scariest and spookiest pictures. You've seen him on the internet, and they're just really fun. We've had a lot of pictures from Halloween Horror Nights this year, back last month in September, and those will be trickling out very shortly, and I hope you guys enjoy them. And especially as well with this show, that we're going to be having some really cool Halloween stuff going on for the month of October. And I have a team of people that we're going to be having some fun with. First of all, we're going to start off with artiste Melanie Dean. Welcome to our spooky episode, Melanie.
Hello. I like spooky also, and in artiste way, it's also Inktober.
Inktober.
Every day, sketch something out of ink. So happy Inktober.
Oh, thank you. We have some returning guests, actor. And my favorite blue man, he has Blue Man Group can't touch this favorite blue man, Mr. Simon Fisher-Becker himself. How you doing, actor Simon Fisher-Becker?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I love it. We're going to be spooky. Oh, we're going to be spooky all day.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Horror-tober.
Yeah. Thank you, Simon. And returning guest as well, Ian Time Lord. You know him as the man on our most recent episodes with our Toy Series episode. He is 2-time Guinness Book World Record Holder for the most Doctor Who memorabilia. How you doing? How you doing there, sir?
Have a masterful October.
You guys can't see this. We got Crispy Master, Extra Crispy Master.
A new body at last.
Thank you, Ian. That's gorgeous there. Of course, the man himself and my favorite guy for this time of year, Mr. Mark Muncy, better known as the author of Eerie, Florida, and several books that are coming out, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Eerie, Florida just released and was on Coast to Coast AM with all the night listeners there, and having a wonderful spooky October. We will see you all on the other side.
And speaking of special guests, we have for our very first time coming from, if I get this wrong, please don't hurt me, Mr. James Enstall. Did I get that correct? Actor James Enstall. Right. And it's Geek to Me radio show. How you doing there, James?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Well, thanks for coming out over here. Tell us a little bit about your show and how audiences can find you.
We're a live radio show based in St. Louis. I was actually very, very excited to see Simon down there. We had him on the show back in December when he came to the Science Center here in St. Louis. But we're a live radio show, covers pop culture from TV, movies, comics, and video games. We've had Sylvester McCoy and Paul McGann on the show before. We're huge Whovians, and if you want to find us, just go to geektomeradio.com, and you can find all the links to our Twitter, Instagram, and everything else there.
Awesome. Well, thank you, James, for joining us. We really appreciate it. And I'm totally excited about this episode because I love having fun in games, especially out of the conventions and such. And we're going to try this as a little experiment with our radio show here. Not only that, but I will also introduce our friends from the Hanging With Web show and the Hanging With Web show radio hour. I've got Garrett, I've got Sage, I've got Dina, and I've got Cosplay Michael on the line. Is that correct there, team?
Well, hello, everybody.
Hello.
Speaking of which, Sage, let's go ahead and start it off with the Who Knew News.
Okay, well, I have some fun news. Since one of our regular panelists is not with us, we'll do some news about Mackenzie Floor, wonderful fantasy author. She is beginning a Kickstarter. It's the Binge Watcher's Guide to Doctor Who Season 11. She says, in order to call yourself a true Whovian, you must follow the Doctor's message. So the Binge Watcher's Guide will take you on a journey through time and space, showing you how Doctor Who became the longest-running show on television, and it's a love letter for Doctor Who fans. So when you are done listening to The Legend of the Traveling Tardis, you will find links in the description for her Kickstarter page. So everybody support fantasy author Mackenzie Floor on this awesome endeavor into the Binge Watcher's Guide to Doctor Who.
And if you don't, if for whatever reason you're having trouble with the links, I know Mackenzie said we're going to be posting it on the Legend of the Traveling Tardis .com. It's going to be on our website, so please check it out over there, and please help with this Kickstarter. I love helping out people who are trying to get started, and they're really talented people, and Mackenzie Floor is no exception to this. She's written the Rite of Wands, the book you got to check out for yourself. So please, if you can support her, go for it. Please, whatever you can donate, and we'll be more than happy. Everybody here at the Legend of the Traveling Tardis said just kick in a little bit to help out Mackenzie get that all started there. What else have we got in the news, Sage?
Well, and stay tuned, because later in this episode, when we go to commercial break, you will hear Mackenzie talk about her Kickstarter. So, and speaking of books, we all know that Christopher Eccleston had recently put out a new memoir, I Love the Bones of You, My Father and the Making of Me. And he also has just announced that he is going to be a guest at the annual Gallifrey 1 convention in Los Angeles early next year. So I know he doesn't actually do too many, so that's going to be fun news. And he is also discussing his book at a special event at the Lowry Theater in Salford Quays coming up later in this month of October.
Well, what you got? It looks like you got something on your mind, Ian.
No, it's your pronunciation. Don't mean to correct you. It's Salford, it's pronounced.
Oh, fantastic. No, correct away. That's awesome. All right, say that again.
Salford Keys.
Salford Keys.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Well, we don't want to be over there and say the wrong name. we want to be educated, so when we get over there eventually, we're like, oh, we know what to say and do out there. What else we got?
Absolutely. Okay, also, and this is just fun, not just for us girls, because it can be gender non-specific. There is a new TARDIS laptop bag that was just released from Lovarzi.
Uh-huh.
Yes, it's really cool. I got to see the pictures. I know our audience can't see it here, but it's officially licensed by the BBC, and of course it's that eye-popping TARDIS blue with the Doctor Who logo. And there's also the zip features the Who insignia and the seal. I'll see if I get to say this right. The seal of Vercillion. And that's embroidered inside.
So close.
You guys don't see the
I think you're killing Melanie. Melanie heard it in the sound. I think I actually saw in the Skype feed Melanie's ears start to bleed a little bit.
I just want to tell you,
so
this is what happens when you let,
I love you.
when you let the blonde do the Who Knew News. I cannot be responsible for what happens. I'm just saying.
Somebody go ahead and pronounce that right so that the
On
world.
three, everybody. 1,
All right,
2,
go, guys.
3. Rassilon.
Oh, thank you. Oh.
It's
Now I see what
it's
happened.
not a creamy
Not
pasta
geek
dish.
shaming.
It's
Not geek shaming.
Yes.
We're educated.
Okay. Well, let me go on to news that I can pronounce. How about that?
So she says.
So I say, yes. In the Daily Mail, I saw a very interesting piece. There was an engineer, Andy Farley, from Dorset. Aha, I said that right. He's 52, and he built a life-size replica of a Dalek, complete with a petrol engine, and it can actually reach speeds of 20 miles an hour. Isn't that really cool?
Solid.
So it's 6 foot 6 inches. He named it the Top Fuel Dalek 478, which also denotes roughly the time, how many hours it took for him to build it. So you can see it on the Facebook page, Dalek Petrol Engine, because it's going to be raffled for Dorset and Somerset Air Ambulance Show. Isn't that kind of cool? He did have to put a no smoking sign on the back to warn people not to light up.
I do have to wonder how loud that thing is. Honestly, once it's going up to, if it's going up to 20, so I'm thinking the idling, how loud it is, and then once it gets up to 20 miles an hour, how obscenely loud that Dalek is.
Well, he said it sounds very sweet. It sounds sweet, but steering is a challenge because of the angle that he had to do it.
Just to get pulled over in a school zone with that. You know?
That would be amazing.
Children, go back to school, or you will be exterminated.
If that makes the news, I'll report that. That's too funny. Well, I have one last piece of news because it was out there in the world. Somebody had asked a question if Scottish singer Lewis Capaldi was related to Peter Capaldi from Doctor Who, and they are. Isn't that interesting? So they are second cousins, and in case anybody doesn't know, a second cousin's once removed because it's either the child of your second cousin or the parent of your second cousin. But Lewis Capaldi actually made global mainstream success because he did his breakthrough single, Someone You Loved, and Peter actually starred in the video for that. Isn't that cool?
Yep.
Look at that. So that is all of my wonderfully pronounced Who Knew news. Who knew?
Rigatoni Rassoloni. That's what I wanted at the Olive Garden next week. Beefy Rassoloni. Yes. Mwah. All right, folks, we're about to start the game here. We're just gonna lay down the rules before we go to our hard commercial break there. This is how the game is going to play. Each one of our panelists have given me the most scariest episode that they can think of in Doctor Who. It could be classic, it could be new. Our panelists are going to be asking a series of yes or no questions. We're going to go around about, what do you say, 2 or 3 times? I think we've got 5 people. We'll do about 3 times? Yeah, let's do it 3 times here. We're going to go around 3 times, and on the 4th time, they have to actually solve it on the 4th go-around out there. Each one of them will be asking questions, and they can't ask a question like, is it classic or current? They actually have to ask in the phrase of a yes or no question. Is it a current Who? Is it new Who? Is it old Who? Whatever. So we're going to be testing that because we're going to have this game playing out in the field once we get this little tweaked out over here. But we're going to have a great time, and we're going to find out more about the scariest episodes that our panelists have come up with. We've got Simon, we got James, we got Ian, we got Melanie, and we've got Mark. So we're going to be starting the game in just a few moments there when we get back to the line. I'm just having a brain, you know what. Are you guys excited for the game there?
Yeah,
ready, exactly.
Ready, good.
Yeah.
We're going to hear
Ready for
Melanie's.
spooky good time.
We're going to have a spooky good time there. All right, folks. Well, when we return, we're going to be starting the game off in just... we're going to start the game off, and we're going to have a great time. And we hope you guys are playing, too, listening out there in the Whoniverse. When we return, please continue to stay logged on, tune in, as our Garrett Pomature would say, and stay always. I have just forgotten our hashtag. Please, just, what is our hashtag?
This is the most
Thank you for being part of the legend.
we've ever going to.
You scared Simon away. Good job.
I scared Simon away.
Simon's
Oh my
gone.
goodness.
All right.
Anyway, when we return in just a few moments, please keep on being part of the legend. Mwah.
Joanne Fisher's The Spanish Doll. Secrets in Italy? Oh yes. Her beauty strikes him like a thunderbolt sent by the goddess Venus. When Fiore is given a peculiar gift, a Spanish doll, she is thrown into a whirlwind of entangled passion, money, secrets, and love. Get swept away today by Hangin' with Web Show featured author Joanne Fisher's The Spanish Doll. Available now on Amazon.com.
The planetary alliance has fallen, replaced by the conglomerate.
Governed
by the universe's most powerful corporation.
One planet stands alone.
Earth.
Captain Reginald Epsilon and his ship, the Stingray.
A new prototype warship that took a decade of research and development refused to recognize his new commanders.
And he disappeared in the blink of an eye.
An
all-out manhunt for Epsilon and the Stingray was on. The ruthless Admiral Roth uses Epsilon's executive officer, the stunning Lieutenant Jesse Smythe.
And her little sister Maggie has pawned in his brutal game of cat and mouse.
Can Epsilon save Maggie?
And prevent the most powerful warship in the universe from falling into corrupt hands?
Hands hell-bent on destroying Earth? Find out in Stingray You Can't Hide Forever.
On Amazon.com.
And welcome back to the Legend of the Traveling Tardis radio show Halloween special. Never mind, I won't do that anymore. Anyway, welcome back there, folks. We have our special guest, Simon Fisher-Becker. We have James Enstall. We have Ian O. Time Lord. We have Melanie Dean, and we have author Mark Muncy, who's been helping me put this Halloween feature together. Thank you so much there, Mark. And we're going to start playing our game, and you folks, if you want to join us, you can probably listen at home and see if you come up with the episodes faster than our panelists over here. Okay, without any particular order, we're going to start off with Simon.
Okay.
And I will be calling your names out. When I call your name out, you will ask Simon the yes or no question. We're going to go around 3 times. The 4th time, you got to try to guess. If neither one of you hits it, Simon wins the point. If one of you gets it, you win the point. So, without further ado, James, I'm going to start you off. You ask Simon your yes or no question about his episode.
Is it a new Doctor Who episode?
No.
Ian.
Is it a 5th Doctor episode?
No.
Melanie.
Is it a 3rd Doctor episode?
Yes.
Mark.
Let's see. 3rd Doctor. All right. Does it involve a green enemy?
Well, I used to watch it in black and white.
Whoa!
I'll take that as a no.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Nice there. Now, folks, also I just want to add this. If you somehow know the episode, if you think you know the episode, you don't have to wait until the very end. You can actually jump out and say it. However, if you say the episode and you get it wrong, you are out of the additional questions. You're out of that particular round. So, without further ado, okay, James, let's start back with you. Yes or no question.
Was his companion for this episode Sarah Jane?
Yes.
Ian.
Okay. Does it have creatures that are 8-legged?
Yes.
But it's Melanie's turn.
I don't know episode title. That's the part where I fail. Pass. I can't.
Just hear that question. It might
Well,
help you.
clearly we're going to figure it.
Ian could have made it more obvious.
I gave you a big. That was a big clue there, anyway.
That was
Yeah,
big
I'm like, okay, I don't even have to ask.
Homework.
Melanie, you want to try or you want to skip your turn?
I'm skipping my turn.
Okay. Mark, you're up.
Was it Planet of the Spiders?
It was indeed.
Yeah! Mark wins that round. First point goes to Mark there. Excellent. Next up.
Why was that your scariest?
Well, it is because at that time I was very scared of any spider. I've got used to them now. So, so that was around 74, wasn't it? So I would have been a bit of a wuss because in 1974 I would have been 13. But I don't like giant spiders, but I've got used to the smaller ones there.
Wow.
And it was
scary.
it was in fact broadcast in colour. It's just I had a black and white TV. Hence my previous comment.
Spiders are scary in any
anyway.
color. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Alrighty, our next up will be James, and Ian will ask him the first yes or no question.
Okay. New or classic Who?
Has to be one or the other.
Oh.
You have to ask yes. You have to ask yes or no.
I could say yes, but that wouldn't get you guys anywhere.
I would be laughing to do that.
I'm going to go with then New Who.
Yes.
Melanie.
Did it have the Ninth Doctor?
No.
Mark.
I'm going to guess right off the bat. Is it Don't Blink?
James.
Well, technically, I don't think that isn't it. Isn't
it's just called Blink. Blink.
Okay. Then yes, you're correct.
Oh my God!
Going right for the jugular.
I was gonna, if we didn't have to just keep asking, all I was going to ask every person was, "Is it Blink?" Is it?
Well, Mark is now done with asking questions for the rest of the show. He's going to say Blink.
Retiring on top. I'm retiring on top. It's going to go out.
The next one is still Blink.
Everybody's like, yeah, because I had to change everybody's answer at this point. The show wouldn't go on there for a long time there. Ian, you're up in the hot seat, and Melanie will be asking you the first yes or no question.
Okay.
Is it a classic Who episode?
Yes.
Mark. It's not Blink. It's not.
I know.
Is it Blink?
I knew it. Or the minute I knew it, that was going to be my question. Is it the fourth Doctor episode?
Yes.
Simon.
Is it an early fourth Doctor episode? Oh, have I asked an awkward question?
Yes, early. Yes, I'd say early.
James.
Is his companion Leela?
No.
Back to you, Melanie.
Trying to think.
There's no 8 legs on this one, I can tell you.
You know what? I'm going to be Mark. Is it Seeds of Doom?
No.
Oh, that takes Melanie out.
So much for that, Campbell.
Mark, go for it.
Okay. Is the companion Romana?
No.
We're back to you, Simon.
Oh, earlier.
Does it involve K9?
No.
James.
Does he have a single companion in the episode?
Yes.
Okay. This is getting interesting. Melanie, sorry, you took a brisk. You're out. Mark, going back to you there.
Let's see.
Stumped him again.
Does it involve a dismembered limb?
No.
Where he was going with that. Simon, we're back to you.
Had a thought.
Is Adric around?
No.
James, your shot.
I've run out of interesting questions. I'm going to just take a go at it.
Okay.
Is it Pyramid of Mars?
Yes.
Right where I was
Oh,
at.
sir.
Wow. James nailing it. Wow, that was good one.
Now, if Mark's Skype suddenly goes dead, I've got a shot at this, right?
Alrighty. Well, now in the hot seat is Melanie. Melanie, Mark is going to start off this one.
Oh, okay.
As the screen goes out.
Unless I blink.
Which is what James is
Unless
over.
I blink. Let's see. Melanie, is it New Who?
Yes.
Simon?
Is it a Peter Capaldi episode?
It is not. But I almost picked one of his, but no, not this time.
James, you're up to bat.
I'm going to throw a Hail Mary. Is it Midnight?
Bravo, sir. It was midnight.
That was going to be my second guess after somebody didn't blink.
It's midnight.
You got it. You got the pattern, James.
Oh my goodness.
We're hitting all the good ones here, so I cannot argue any of these choices.
Well, I just in case, because we got 2 for 2, if there's a tiebreaker, I'll throw in mine into the hat there. Now, Mark, you're sitting in the hot seat, and Simon will start off the questions.
Well, I suppose, is it a New Who?
No.
James, you want to take a guess?
Right.
It's probably not Blink, that's for sure.
Classic Doctor Who. Is it a third Doctor episode?
No.
Ian.
Fourth Doctor?
No.
Melanie.
Trying to think how I don't want to just keep going down the line. Is the Brigadier in it?
No.
Mark, what
I
the
know.
what?
Or Nicholas Courtney's rolling over in his grave.
Oh my!
Sorry.
Everything that I was betting on with you. So much for that. I knew when Christian even said this whole episode, I'm like, okay, I have to think of every scary movie the Brig was on because that's going to be Mark. There that went.
Oh, genie. Simon, go for it. Next question.
Is it one of the very early Doctors?
No.
Oh, okay.
James? Let's see if we get somebody get a guess on this one.
Is it a 7th Doctor episode?
No. That narrows it down now.
Yes.
Ian, you think you figured this one out? Got a question?
Well, I lost you for a minute, so I don't know where we're up to.
We are round 2.
No, no, I got the not 3 and not 4 and not 7 now.
There was an earlier question, not any early Doctor.
Right. Is it a 5th Doctor?
Yes.
Ooh. Ian's the first one to get a mark on that, but speaking of which, Melanie.
I really can't even think of a question. Because I'm really not good with 5th Doctor stuff. So, I just don't. I can't even think of a question to help.
Oh, no.
I'm kind of like not wanting to help you people.
I'm asking a companion. That'll narrow it down. Or companion.
Yeah, there you go.
He had a crowded TARDIS for a while.
Yeah, I did. No, I don't know. I can't even think of a question. Go. Pass.
Okay, then we are going to go back to Simon.
Trying to remember the companions. Is Mark Strickson a companion?
Not at this time.
Right, so...
James?
Is Tegan featured in this one?
Yes. I should have gave it away.
And, Ian?
Is it Kinder?
Yes!
Oh my god!
Yeah! The worst effect ever, but that messed me up so much.
And Ian, thank you so much for figuring it out, because we are going to get to commercial break. When we return, we're just going to have a little bit more fun and discuss about these episodes, which we are scared about. When we return to the Legend of the Traveling Tardis, please continue to become part of the legend.
I'm trying to think of 5th Doctor ones that were scary.
That one, it messed me up so much when I was, again, like you, Simon, I was just at a formidable age at that time. Yeah. And I guess just all the dream sequences and all the weird delving into madness, it just...
I do not, that's one episode. I don't go with the flow. That puts me to sleep, that story.
Yep.
How you doing over there, James?
I'm good.
Okay. Are you having a good time?
Oh yeah, this is fun. I feel bad that I was guessed so quickly my episode.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I knew somebody was going to pick it. I knew somebody was going to pick it, and I was just like, alright, who's going to pick it?
If it hadn't been that, it would have been midnight, so...
Yeah, those were the 2 new ones. I knew if it was any of the 2 new Who's, it was going to be that.
Go ahead for the countdown now, whenever you're ready.
Now on Amazon.com, iCoin from author Jeremy Mosby. It's an alternate reality, and the leader of the planet iCoin is none other than Benjamin Franklin. When corrupt officials threaten And not only iCoin, but the Earth as well. An unlikely chosen one, Jeremy, must face dark foes to save the Earth and iCoin alike. Author Jeremy Mosby takes readers on a superhero's adventure through this compelling and imaginative alternate universe. Get iCoin on Amazon.com today.
Are you having trouble getting a merchant account? Maybe you need an international payment gateway, or you just got rejected by another merchant account provider. No problem. iPayTotal wants your business. Our high-risk merchant accounts allow you to accept all major credit and debit cards. Our Moto payment gateway allows accepting transactions on the phone. iPayTotal delivers payment solutions and products to help grow your business. Contact us now for your payment processing at iPayTotal.com. iPayTotal, your online payments partner.
And we're back with the Legend, the Traveling Tardis radio show. My name is Christian Basel. I'm here with actor Simon Fisher-Becker. I am here with podcaster. Is that an appropriate name, podcaster or radio show? James?
It's a radio show and a podcast, so you're both right.
Okay. How about social media audio extravaganza and extraordinaire and actor James Enstall? Can I throw any more out there? I've got Time Lord, I've got artist Melanie Dean, and I've got my friend Mark Muncy out over here. Now, the thing is, we have 2 winners thus far. So, to put this in the tie-breaking round, Mark and James, you have to figure out my scariest episode. And guess what, Mark? I'm not making it that easy for you. Because he knows what my scariest one is, so I moved it to my second scariest.
Okay, good. I was going to say, I don't want to play if I already know that.
No, I've moved it down over there.
I would bow out gracefully because,
No, you're fine. No, we don't want bowing out. We're going to make it work for you. So, but I'm going to have James start this one off over there. James, go ahead. Hit me with your question.
Is it a classic Who episode?
No. Mark.
All right. Is it a David Tennant episode?
No, and he just asked me if it was a classic Who episode. David Tennant. I'm sorry. I thought you said Peter Davison. Oh, okay. I'm an idiot.
David
great. Yes, it is a David Tennant episode. I'm an idiot.
Okay, that narrows it down. Thank you.
Nice, James. Go for it.
Is his companion Rose Tyler?
No. Mark.
Okay, let's see. Oh gosh, you got me now. Alright, let's see. Is his companion Martha Jones?
No.
In that case, the next question could hand it right over to Mark. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and guess.
Yes.
Is it Forest of the Dead?
You know what? It's no, but I want to keep playing because I don't want to end it like this. They're going
to start lobbing titles now. Nope.
They're going to lob titles.
Nope, this is a whole lateral thing at the end of the game. Who's going into overtime? Nope. Here we go. The 3 of us are just going to sit there and just watch.
Let's get hold on, I'll pull up Wikipedia. What were all those?
Wait. Mark, go for it. What's your next question?
Well, he guessed Forest of the Dead. That was one I was considering. Let's see.
I'll just recap. David Tennant, not Martha, not Rose, knew Who.
Yeah. So, goodness. I'm going to ask, I'll guess. What? Oh, wait, here we go.
Are you looking at me?
Was Karen Gillian in this episode?
No.
I would have thought.
I think the other 3 know what it is.
I know they do.
I know Ian is just pulling his camera and shaking it. James, what is it? Or what's your question, or what is it?
Well, is it Silent in the Library?
No.
Ah.
Oh, yeah.
That only leaves me one option then.
Man.
David Tennant episode. No Martha, no Rose, current episode, you guys are thinking on 2-dimension.
Yeah, we're thinking.
You guys are thinking
scary.
I'll give you a hint,
this is a
and
Christian
it's not really a good
so
hint there.
Not,
You're thinking on a 2-dimensional level.
Is it Planet of Ghosts?
What?
What episode was that?
I'm sorry, not Planet of Ghosts. What am I saying? Sorry, I'm thinking something else. Wow. Sorry.
Yeah, it was the episode.
My brain is elsewhere.
Planet of the
Ghosts
Ghost.
all week. Sorry, I'm out.
Okay, you want to concede to
I concede to James.
James,
what do you think it is, James?
What do you think it is, James?
The only other two that I would think remotely scary, and if it's not a regular episode, it has to be a special. So it's if out of the two, I'm going to guess Planet of the Dead.
Or
I'd have to say The Waters of Mars.
The Waters of Mars. It is. Yes.
I was thinking Planet of the Dead or Waters of Mars. I said Planet of Ghosts for some reason. Sorry.
Yeah.
I got a new book about ghosts that just came out called Creepy Florida, and I actually have to leave you folks. I'm so sorry, but I have to go because I have to go promote that somewhere. So.
Mark, thanks for coming on. Thanks for helping me put this all together. I appreciate it.
Yes, you all have a happy Halloween if I don't see you, and it's been an honor talking with you all again. So
you as well. Nice to meet you.
Go have fun, Mark. Go sell the things. Promote.
Sorry, I'm on a live program in in about 5 minutes, so I got to drive.
Okay.
Got it. Take care of yourself.
Bye.
I got my
Take a leg.
Bye.
Turn this off and run now. Go.
Yeah, run. So, James, since you were the one who won this game, congratulations there. Tell us a bit about Blink and why you think it's the scariest episode out there.
So I first got into Doctor Who. I knew they had a little on the public PBS station here when I was very little, and they had a lot of 4th Doctor episodes and occasional 5th Doctor. But I wasn't that into it until I started watching New Who. Then I went back and watched Classic. But the New Who were very enjoyable, a lot of fun. And Blink was the first one that ever kind of was like, holy crap, this is actually kind of scary. It was a new monster I'd never seen before. And the idea of the way it was filmed with them kind of like moving at you. We've got statues outside the condo complex here, and it kind of freaked me out. I'm like, what if those things are going to come get me when I walk down the path next time? So it's a little disconcerting. But yeah, I think there was a great episode, and really the first one that I saw anyway that put an emphasis on a horror element.
Yeah, I usually tell people, thanks to Stephen Moffat, I can't go out to the garden section of Home Depot or Lowe's without having to look twice at anything Marvel statue who's smiling at me just a little bit too happily. And I'm just like, oh my goodness there. Now, I just have a quick question. This is a completely side note question, but I just wanted your take because you're new to our show there. Everybody keeps saying that Blink is the gateway drug for Doctor Who. Do you agree to that? And do you think Blink is a good episode to bring people into Doctor Who, or an example of Doctor Who? I just wanted your take on that.
I usually tell people if they want to get involved in it very quickly, it is an easy, quick episode to kind of really lure people in and be like, wow, this is really cool. Normally, though, because of its more Whovian elements, and because it's such a rich story, the one I usually recommend for people who have never seen Doctor Who is actually Simon and Simon and the Doctor.
Anything Simon's in.
The one with Vincent and the Doctor.
Vincent and the Doctor?
Yeah, but yeah, Blink is usually one of the ones I recommend because it's not a two-parter. You can delve right in without a whole lot of backstory. But yes, otherwise I recommend anything with Simon in it from there.
I mean, because anything the Planet of Ghosts, as Mark mentioned, or Simon in the Library. There you go. Just change that around, that title out there. That'd be great out there. Simon, you picked Planet of the Spiders, and you talked about it a little bit there, but give us a little more impression about what scared you. It was black and white at the time, too.
Well, no, it's actually a colour production, but I didn't have a colour telly at the time. So that's why I saw it in black and white. But I'm scared of spiders. And, of course, you get on the screen these huge spiders, even if they were on pieces of string. But I got over my fear of spiders because I went on a geography field course, and somebody got the biggest, hairiest spider they could find and just put it down my top. And of course, I couldn't scream and shout like a little girl, so I just put my hand down picked the spider up and threw it away. So since then, I can deal with spiders. If I can put a saddle on them, then I still want to run away. But I could deal with anything smaller than that. But at the time, I was terrified of them. I don't know why. It was just a fear of them. I think it's just the legginess.
Do you have an actual fear? Do you have arachnophobia?
I think as a child I definitely did, but I've sort of grown out with it. In that I'd prefer not to invite a spider to dinner.
That's right.
But I read a little factette recently that apparently every household has at least 2,000 to 4,000 spiders. House spiders. And if you put out house spiders outside, you kill them. Yeah, they're house spiders. They don't like being outside.
Okay, I'm leaving. Bye. Yeah. I'm going to go for a drive for a while because I'm just going to That's going to happen.
So that's why I chose Planet of the Spiders. But I also had Blink down as my option for the New Who.
Yeah.
But it was for the very reasons. It's the idea of something as simple as statues, which we see every day, can actually be something of terror. And I think it was very cleverly done.
Yeah, and then Stephen Moffat made everything uninhabitable. I mean, now, like Waters of Mars, now you can't drink water and you can't breathe or, things like that. It's just like, I can't even walk out of the house now. This has so many alien invasions. And it's funny that you mention the spiders bit, because I thought for a while I genuinely have a fear of snakes. And it's not because of, I freak out because my mother would send me into the shed to get something out of the shed. I'd pull something out of the shed and something would be hissing at me, but when I got back. And of course my mother was so lovingly, she goes, "Be a man, kill it." I'm like, what? I'm 13. Do you want me to become a snake killer? I'm like, is this thing poisonous? Is this thing dangerous? And for a while I just could not I could not, if I saw a snake, I would freeze. Literally freeze up. Still to this day, I kind of do when we go to like the alligator farm or the Gatorland. I just totally freeze up, and I just like I know. And God forbid when they start doing those little kid shows where they bring out the boa constrictor and say, "Here, hold this." I'm like, no, thank you. No, that's not. No, it's just not going to happen in my lifetime. There.
Meanwhile, I'm the idiot that goes over and picks it up and moves it for people.
No, my wife does the same. She goes, "Oh, it's nothing."
It's nothing. Here, I'll pick it up.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a little black racer. And I just remember, I don't know why they call it black racer, because when there was one time where I moved a pot, and literally I saw nothing but this little black. It was like a black line. It's like a comet shooting out of the pot over towards our pool is and disappeared. I'm like, that is a nope snake. I am not touching the snake.
Those things are fast.
Not only fast, I'm just like, no. That just scared the hell out. That's all I saw was this black line running towards the pool, disappearing under the pool. And I'm like, have a good life. Whatever is going on in that pool, you can have time. You can have fun with it there. Oh, well. In just a moment, we're going to be up on a break. We need to pay some bills in just a minute there, folks. We're going to continue our discussion with our most scariest episodes. And when we post this episode, please, by all means, post your scariest episodes. And we'll discuss about what makes your episode scary, what you think about it. But for now, when we return, we're going to continue our discussion with the most scariest episodes of Doctor Who. Please continue to become part of the legend.
Alien invaders enslave Earth,
unleashing hunters into the ruined wastes.
One young survivor struggles to elude their monsters, clinging to hope.
When he's stolen off the planet by a sarcastic Starship AI, they pit their uneasy alliance against a treacherous galaxy.
Explore a whole new verse of barbarism and betrayal.
Wonder and adventure.
In the Scion series
by Michael J. Allen.
Beginning with Book 1, Scion Conquered Earth.
Available in print, ebook, and audio on Amazon.com. Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
At Xavier'sManifestThyWill.com. Do you crave solutions to your everyday problems? Get rich, find love, and become happy. Xavier, Master of the Dark Arts, may have the powers you need to prevail. Don't give up because other spellcasters have failed you. At Xavier'sManifestThyWill.com. Life does not have to be as hard as you see it. Xavier, an astrologist and psychic, carries out rituals and casts spells conscientiously, and he has the power to prevail in situations deemed impossible by other spellcasters. At ManifestThyWill.com, see for yourself the difference real magic can make. Go to ManifestThyWill.com today.
And we're back with the scariest episode of the Legend of the Traveling Tardis radio show. My name is Count Christian Basel, and I think my accent is really disgusting and disturbing, and I should not be doing this anymore. So, I'm here with my friends, actor Simon Fisher-Becker, podcast extraordinaire James Enstall, right? Enstall?
Enstall, yeah, it's just like install with an E.
Enstall. Podcast extraordinaire, James Enstall. We also have two-time Guinness Book of World Record for the most memorabilia, Doctor Who memorabilia. We've got Ian O'Time Lord, and we have Melanie Dean. And Mark had to go on of his little thing. Wish him the best of luck. Break a leg out there, Mark. I hope you have a great interview out there. And we're going to continue to our discussions with the scariest episodes of Doctor Who. And we're going to you, Ian. Ian, you picked the Pyramids of Mars. I think so. What's funny about Pyramids of Mars, I not only think it is one of the most scariest episodes because it had, now I can't think of it. Because of those big mummies. Yeah. I just picture those mummies ripping my arms apart over there. But also, I think it had some of the funniest things in Doctor Who. That one scene where they're walking in together, and they see the mummy and they walk right out.
It's the greatest Nope gif
It's the
ever.
greatest Nope. Yeah, it's actually has its own gif out there, or GIF, or whatever they call it there. Nope. We're going back over there. Ian, what made this particular episode scary?
Well, I watched it, of course, as a kid. How old would I have been? It's 75, I think it was on. So I was, seven. I was 7. And the thing that even to this day, of course, it was on DVD and I've watched it many a times, still scares me, is when Marcus Scarman appears through the sarcophagus as the time tunnel, and he's dressed all in that sort of black cloak and that black helmet, and there's no eyes, there's nothing, and the voice, and as he walks, all the the floor's burning because all the smoke.
Yeah.
And then he just puts his hand on the Egyptian and he just kills him. He just burns, and that scared me. And those mummies, because there's no expression and they can, as Sarah says, they can't half move.
Now, my brain is a little fried. This is Sutek, right? This is a Sutek episode. Yeah.
His servant. Remember the servant?
Yes, I do remember the servant.
The professor that at the beginning discovers the tomb and then he's taken over. I mean, he is also terrifying because he's walking around like he's a man, but his face is just so white. I mean, the makeup looks like a corpse.
Yes.
And it's hard. It's really it's kind of sad when his brother says, it's me, your brother. And what happens to him? He kills him.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it's the first time ever for me that the Doctor had an enemy he could just not take on, and the enemy could have just taken him out with a snap of his fingers.
Yep.
I mean, Sutek is that powerful, but somehow or another the Doctor finds a way to get around Sutek and defeat him.
Yeah.
And he doesn't do it with brute strength or anything. He just outwits Sutek. What do you think of, and you guys, I'm going to open the floor to this, what do you think of Sutek as a villain in Doctor Who?
I think, well, for me, he is so it's very scary because for the most of the series he just sits on like a throne, but it's the voice as well.
Yes,
and the mask, and that is scary enough.
Yeah, you really nailed it. He's the one, that's what I was thinking, is he's the one foe the Doctor seemed to have a lot of trouble overcoming as opposed to some of his other regular monster fare. And I think a lot of these Jodie Whittaker episodes have kind of had a classic feel to them in some ways. And I think it'd be great to bring someone like Sutekh back for the 13th Doctor to face.
Now, I think Sutekh has come back at least once in Big Finish, and he took on the 7th Doctor. I actually got to hear it. I think it was Bernice Summerfield, I think it was Ace, and I think it was the 7th Doctor. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, if somebody wants to correct me, I don't remember the episode, but he basically took out the 7th Doctor within seconds. Like at the beginning of the episode, he just took him out. And it was like, oh wow. And then we had to figure out what happened during that time to the 7th Doctor, which was very, very odd. If somebody wants to correct me, by all means, but I just remember hearing that episode. I was like, oh wow, you just took out the 7th Doctor. Well, that didn't, there goes that. Now I don't have to listen to the other CDs there. Melanie.
Sorry, as James, just quick, as James says, he's absolutely right, because I've just remembered, at one point in the story, even the Doctor is taken over by him. And he gets in the TARDIS and takes him to Mars.
Yeah.
And Melanie, speaking of being taken over, it's not the first time the Doctor has been taken over by an alien presence. We're talking Midnight. Tell me a little bit why this is your scariest episode.
I find, well, for me, horror in general, I don't like the big jump scares. I'm not a big fan of the guts and gore, blah, blah, blah. I like the psychological kind of, I like paranoia. I'm a huge, stupidly huge fan of the Twilight Zone. And I really, I knew those episodes more than anything before, as I was becoming an Whovian. And when I first watched Midnight, all I could think of was, will the real Martian please stand up? And the monsters of Maple Street, or due on Maple Street. Honestly, those two episodes, because it really reminded me of just the paranoia and how everyone's in there having this nice and happy, light kind of thing. They're going to go on a tourist kind of this venture, and they just start just going into the paranoia of who. The thing is, everybody, you can clearly see who is. You have the professor, who is played by the Troughton's son. The 2nd Doctor's son is the professor in that one. So you have like all this different types of, everyone's a very realized character. They have different types of like structured. So you have the professor and his student. You have the family with the role of the mother, the wife, and how they interconnect. And as everyone starts, it becomes more of that horror kind of feel. Everyone starts going in for themselves and no longer has that kind of power over one another when you would do in a familial kind of thing of like the son's going to listen to the mom and dad, or the student's going to listen to the teacher, or the hostess is always going to be the hostess the whole way through. You can see everyone just goes into themselves, and then when the paranoia really comes rampant, and it's when they're about to throw the Doctor out, and they start calling back on that again in almost like a little power struggle of the wife yelling at the father or the husband, you help him pick him up, and why don't you do this? And everyone's just shouting and yelling. But it's one of my favorite just scary kind of movies or episodes, because you never see the entity. That's all you know. You don't know what it is. Was it something outside that was just possessing it? They never called it anything. And the funny thing is, from the very beginning, the hostess had it dead to rights. Needed to take her and throw her out.
Well, I think the most scariest premise, some of the most scariest movies and stories don't even reveal the monster. And then this question is, which is the real monster? Is the real monster inside or outside? And I think that was the big question for Midnight, because when people are put in a situation, and I know this is going to sound weird, but I'm using Deep Space Nine as a point of reference. And James, I think you're a big DS9 fan, if I'm not mistaken. And it's a line that Quark says, I think it's to his cousin, Nog. It says something to Nog there, to the reference that humans are happy when they're comfortable. I'm paraphrasing. Humans are happy when they're comfortable, but once you start taking them out of their element, once you start changing their environment, then they become the most dangerous things in the universe. Once you take them out of their replicators, once you take them out of their holodecks, once you take them out of their starships and put them in a place where they have to fight or fly, they will fight. They will do whatever it takes. And I saw that in Midnight. And if anybody wants to correct me or add their take on that, because these people did not know what to do and they were stuck in whatever it was, and they was trapped in there with them. So what do you do when you don't even know what the enemy is or what it looks like? How do you handle that?
And I would say, too, a large part of that episode hinged on the actress Leslie Sharp, who was taken over, just the look in her eyes.
Oh, she was wonderful.
Oh, absolutely.
She was absolutely brilliant, and had they not found the right actress for that part, I don't think it would have hit as hard as it did, and I think she's as crucial to that episode as David Tennant himself.
I think she was, because they kind of, not only that, but they gave her a backstory. They gave her a little bit of a backstory. So she just broke up with, I think was it a divorce or where she broke up with her girlfriend? I think that's why she went into the, I'm trying to remember the story pretty well there. It's kind of teetering in my mind, but I just remember she went in there very upset, and they kind of give her a backstory which made things to raise the stakes on her, because this was a person. It wasn't just a monster in there. This was a person who was being consumed by this entity, and the entity would eventually consume the Doctor, and essentially, it ended the way it ended. And I liked the way it ended too, because everybody was asking, okay, who's the stewardess?
Yeah.
Yep, nobody gets her name.
Yeah, nobody got her name. We figured out that, somebody who was important at that moment, we don't even know her name. So I think it was a really great episode out there. Yep. We're down to our last 3 minutes. I'm just going to quickly say, actually, I went to my second favorite scariest story because of the Water Mars, which I think everybody... But I actually went to my second episode because Mark knew of my first one, which is, I'm shocked that nobody picked it, for me, The Talons of Wang Chiang.
Yeah, it's a good.
Come on, a pig-brained, pig-faced homunculus walking around in Steve Roy with a knife. And I went just the carriage that sucks your life out and gives Magnus Greel all its power. And the scene where Wang Chiang is having to fight it out with the giant-sized rat. I'm like, holy cow. And of all things, we got to see somebody smoke opium on the show.
Was that as a kid that Mr. Sin?
Mr. Sin, yeah.
Oh, that terrified me. But there was another one. My other one I could have picked if I thought about it, and there's a bit in it that still terrifies me, is Deadly Assassin.
Yeah.
When he's in the...
Oh, God, the clown.
No, it's when is it episode 2 or something, where the Doctor's on that railway track and his foot, the point's changed and his foot's stuck, and the train is coming to a minute ends, and that, if I ever have to walk across train tracks, I'm always reminded of that. I'm always terrified of that happening to me.
Oh, no, Ian, the clown, when he wipes his hand in the sand and he sees the clown, that still freaks me out to this day. I can't even watch that scene where the clown is reflection. I'm like, oh my God, I close my eyes when I watch it.
Is that bit with the railway track?
Yeah. That too scares the heck out of me as well. Oh yeah. And him getting...
One quick one. There's one bit of Doctor Who that still scares me to this day, no matter how much I watch the scene, and it's the piece of music. You know, Spearhead from Space, John Pertwee's first episode?
Yeah.
When the Autons come to life in the window, when they sort of jerk, and there's that piece of music, it makes my heart skip a beat, still.
Well, guys, we are down. This is it. This is the end of the episode. One of the first of our scariest episodes throughout the month of October. Everybody, we want to thank you for joining us. Simon, James, Ian, Melanie, Mark, thanks for coming on to the show. And I also want to mention this to everybody. I want to thank everybody who's listening. I want to thank everybody here and everybody who's supported us. This episode marks our 1 year on radio. being on iHeartRadio, being on iTunes, being on CBSRadio.com. We have made a terrific stride in just the first year. We started the day before Jody premiered on October the 6th, and our next episode coming up will be our 50th episode. And right now, our Facebook page, I want to thank everybody who's joined us. We are now up to 33,000 subscribers on our Facebook page. 1,000 came up from the day that we started the radio show to this point. We've added more than 1,000 at least 1,000 subscribers on Facebook there. I want to thank you all for joining us. Thank you for the 1 year. We hope you have a happy and safe Halloween month. Be safe out there. And as always, I want to thank Garrett Pomacher, who is the man who made me get into this program. When he asked me, you want to do your own Doctor Who radio show, I said no. Because at that time I didn't believe in myself.
You fool!
Yeah, exactly. You fool. And 1 year later, look how many people support this show. Simon, Ian, James, Melanie, Jessica, the list goes on and on. Mark, everybody. So thank you all for listening. We hope you continue to become part of the legend. Have a great Halloween.